Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting DuckmanCycles VW Garage. Behind me here is a 1965 Karmann Ghia that's in for a little bit of custom electrical work. You might remember this was here last spring for some electrical problems that nobody could sort out. But anyway, the owner was so happy that he decided to bring it back and have me do some additional work. So let me show a little bit of what we got. Most of the parts that are underneath the hood there are what we're going to be installing. There's a few more things he says he's actually going to bring back for later on in the season because he's putting a big engine in this thing, something like a 1914 or something. I don't remember what he said, but it's going to be huge. Now, I don't know if I'll be involved in the engine installation, but after that, I'll be doing some more things like custom electrical cutoff switches and other little security features to try to make sure that this Karmann Ghia doesn't get ripped off and stolen. Anyways, let's go ahead and have a look inside of this thing. You guys know, licky, lucky, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to plug the dingle bells to get updates every time I have a video. Check out duckshit.net for all my different social media links, and we'll be back right after that intro. Would you just look at this car, guys? Absolutely gorgeous 1965 Karmann Ghia. Well, I lost a video clip as I was starting to record out here of replacing the tachometer. This is the old one. You might remember from the old video it was broken. It just didn't work. I had all the wiring hooked up to it, though, which it did not have previously. So I got that going. But anyway, there's just one screw on each one of these tangs, and then you literally just give it a little turn, and it pulls right out of the dashboard. It was that easy. And I quickly slap the other one in, turn the screws on it, and we're going to jump right into the wiring. But first, let me show you a little bit of this new interior that he put in here. Look at this. Beautiful interior. Before it was just like a black leather, and now it's just really, really nice. It's got a nice tweed headliner in it too. Yeah, everything is matching. The rear seat also. He did that too. Just real nice stuff. He really went above and beyond on that one. And there, of course, is the new tachometer, which I just put into place. So there it is. So we're going to also change out the headlights. We got a nice set of brand new LED ones, and we're going to change out the fuse block as well to a more modern one that uses the blade style fuses instead of those stupid little bullet ones that always get lost or broken, or sometimes you can even burn yourself on them. In addition to that, he also went around this car and he began to buff it. Now it's a little dusty from sitting here because, well, it's been dry. It hasn't rained in over a week, and that's not very in season for us. But it's caused just this little breeze that we have here to toss dust all over everything. So anyway, let's go ahead and hop to work on this. Let's finish up the wiring on the tachometer and see if that's working. Alright, not sure how well you guys can see what I'm doing in here, but we're going to give it a shot. All these little ends on these wires, we're going to have to trim them off and strip them back. That way we've got bare wires just like that. Now again, nothing under here is hot because the key is in the off position, so I didn't even disconnect the battery. Some of this fuse block, however, is alive, so don't drop your tools on this thing. There are going to be some portions of it in our living. Alright, this one's here. There we go. Alright, let's see what kind of shrink tubing I've got for this. I want to wrap that up. Alright, got what the doctor ordered. Just like this. Put these on first. My Duckman, you're a gassy boy today. Alright, here's our wires. Start with them one at a time. I have some other wiring guys that do electrical work. I watch my videos that compliment my termination of ends. They say I do a wonderful job. I'm very thoughtful about crimping things, tightening things, and then in the end getting things insulated properly. These could be soldered, but after doing some reading after years of doing this stuff, and I used to solder everything, I realized, other people have had the problem, not me, that these Volkswagens, or any car for that matter, can throw enough amperage in a wire to make it hot enough to melt your solder. And that means your solder connection will be junk if that happens. So your crimp connections are better in these circumstances. Now, if you're inside of an appliance or a device or something, you know, like a radio, yeah, solder that. But if you're outside working on wiring harness stuff, no, you don't want to do that. All right, I got my heat gun right here. Of course, it's not plugged in. I wasn't ready to go. I'll be right back in a second. Shake, butter. There goes. Shake that one too. Here we go. Put that heat gun away from this car. I don't know if you've done it before, but the end of the heat gun gets hot, and if you rest it on here, like on an upholstery or something, it'll burn a hole right through it. Ask me how I know. So I haven't made that mistake in a very, very long time. Let's plug in our bulb, light bulb for this stuff. First and closest one is right here. And then this one, we're gonna open up the kit that came with this. Again, not prepared. Alright. I have a new bulb holder here. I left the one in the other gauge because it didn't want to come out, so I'm not going to fight with it. If it wants to stay in there, well, that's where it can stay for all eternity, for all I care. That one goes in there, and then this wire should attach to here. Now we need one for the bottom and one for the top also. I mean, it might be adequately enough to light it. In fact, I should look in the instructions and see if that's what it says to do. Maybe just put 2. We got enough bulb holders for 4, so we might even just run them all in there. Let's see, lighting. Tachometer uses stock style lighting, very simple and easy to service. Keep within original. Okay, that's all it says. It doesn't say you can get away with 2. It doesn't say you need all 4. I guess we'll just put all 4 in because that's the way it's going to be. That's a ISP gauge. It does not appear to be the same quality as a VDO. The VDO is much heavier piece. I mean, you could just feel a difference in it. This is very tin, a very, very thin sheet metal stamping. Not a better, thicker quality component. Not to say it's junk, but it's just, that's modern manufacturing for you. Alright, now I need to come off of these wires here, tee off of it, go up and down, and get our harness made for the tops and bottoms. So I'm just going to cut a piece of wire and get that squared away, and we should be good to go after that. Alright, there's our wiring. Nice crisscross here. We got our 4 light bulbs, junction in the middle, nice and insulated. It's a little snug, but it's okay. Alright, should be ready to go. Got all our power wires, signal wires hooked up here. Just giving a quick look over everything else, make sure I didn't knock any wires out of position. It doesn't look like I did. Let's go check in the back to make sure the coil is hooked up properly to this wire. That's the blue wire that goes to the signal, so hopefully it's blue on the other end. If memory serves, it is. So first we need to pop the deck lid. Whoa! It actually popped right open. Normally I have to lift them. That's kind of a surprise. I had a little more spring in it than I thought it would. Okay, there's our blue wire. Looks like it's connected. Alright, if I get the key, the tachometer should work. Let's have a look in here. Let's see. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think the 80 is a little higher than the 0, so I think the whole gauge needs to go just a couple degrees over. I don't think anybody else would notice that except me. Because I do, I'm going to fix it. I'm not going to leave it that way. So just loosen the screws just a bit, turn it just a hair. And it's okay. I'm much happier with that. A couple degrees made all the difference in the world on how that looks. Speedometer looks pretty good. You know what, the oil pressure gauge looks a little crooked too, but I'm not going to get into that. Fact is, what I mess with needs to be adjusted, so we'll get that straightened out. Alright, otherwise we need to do a little wiring on this one. But we're almost done with that. This is not too bad. This is pretty simple. Okay, here comes the fun part. This is the part where we get in the car, we turn the key, and there's a bright flash of light, a loud bang, and a smoke starting to come out of everything. This is fuse protected, by the way. There was a position on the block which the other gauge was connected to, so there was no reason for me to add an additional fuse. So there it is. It does what it's supposed to do. Alright. Come on, start. There it is. Look at that. Alright, I think we're good. The oil light was coming on when it was hot before, so this engine might be running a little too hot, or maybe it has too thin of an oil in there. But it's not doing it now, which is good, but tells me it was probably a heat issue. But this engine's about to get pulled anyway. In fact, the PSI is much higher than it was before. It was way low. It was barely above the 0 at idle. But it's nice to see the tachometer working. That's one thing crossed off the list. Let's move on to the next one. Came out brake free. In fact, I smelled duct tape. That's odd. Unless it's just on my mind. It's a psychosomatic thing. What the hell's going on here? Alright. Well, I guess it wasn't as bad as I thought. I wonder what that piece of tape is all about. Alright. It's going to be a mounting screw. It looks like there's one there, one here, and probably one right underneath here somewhere. Typically there's 3. Nope, it's up there. I see it. Here, there, and then there it is. Take those out too, and the headlight should come out. Alright everybody, we're back. I don't remember exactly where I left off at. In fact, everything probably looks exactly the same as it did yesterday because, well, I pretty much set it up the same way. But we intercepted the marker light up front here, and the dashed wire, you can see it's green and black striped. The other one's a solid color. The gray one is typically your running lights on a Volkswagen. The striped one, it's easy to remember because it's striped on, off, you know, so that might help you to remember which one is a turn signal. So that's what we tapped into for the signal, which I ran through the purple, which comes up purple back to the green. This thing just keeps falling down. It's just going to aggravate me. I'll just let it gently hang. Okay, right back to the green that's up here. The red one was the marking light. I already tested it just to make sure it is indeed correct. Do I hear a Volkswagen coming down the street? No, it's a noisy ass truck. Anyways, we got it all wired up. I put enough slack inside of here so that way you can pull this bulb out kind of easily. And I got to put this back together, which there's actually a little rust down here, and one of the bolts pulled through because there's a rust hole. Let the owner know that. He does plan on having the thing repainted in several years, even though he just painted it. He's not 100% satisfied. I think he wants to change the color or something, but anyway, when he comes back to that, I'll make sure he's aware of that little rust hole. Let's pull that bolt through. The other side over here, we need to do the same thing. Everything is still pretty bare, so we'll clean this up, get these clipped, put parts in where they need to go, get it spliced, and then we'll do our shrink wrap on everything like we've done over here. Otherwise, this is ready to be reassembled, and we should have this thing up and running. Alright, here we are on the other side, spliced into the turn signals just the same as the other side. This is shrink tubing on here. The camera can hardly see it, but this is my little signature. I put shrink even in places you don't need to have it. And then of course I shrinked it in the places that you do, so this is all well insulated. So this is ready to be reinstalled at this point. You know what I forgot to do? And I just realized it. I should have put that other headlight ring on first before I committed to doing this, because this will probably not go through that bucket. So I might have to cut that splice back open again, but we're about to find out how badly the Duckman screwed up here in just a moment. Yeah, like I said, I should have routed that wire through the bucket first like I did on the other side. I just wasn't thinking, got ahead of myself. I thought about it there, but I failed on this side. Usually you fail on the first one, you don't fail on the second one, you idiot. Yeah, I'm calling me that. Anyway. Cut back into it, resplice it, put the bucket in, and then put it back together. Alright, let's give you guys the money shot. Be our running lights, our headlights, running lights again. Left turn signal, not working, gotta turn the key on. There it is, left signal. I don't think I see the bottom bullet flashing, I'll have to investigate. And there's our right signal. So willing to bet it's a bad ground on that right side. Maybe it's not a bad ground, maybe it's a bad bulb, as it is lit. Alright, well, we're gonna have to dig in. See, that's no good. That one's working. Alright, well I got the turn signal apart here, and it looks like it's just a loose bulb in that socket. See what I mean? So I'm going to have to clean either the bulb or the socket itself. So, we'll get that straight. Sorry for the epileptic seizure there, guys. That's what it is, just a loose socket. Okay, well we can fix that pretty easy. One more test. Let's see if we get anything here. There's our parking lights. There's our left side turn signal. Gotta turn the ignition on for it. We got both lights flashing, I can tell from here. We got our right side turn signal, both lights flashing again. Let's do them with the parking lights off. Make sure that they still work like they're supposed to. And they are, looks good to me. We'll do our headlights and high beam, low beam down here. It looks like it's working like it's supposed to. Well, fantastic. Okay, let's see if the turn signals work while this is on. Looks good to me. On the other side, also good. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up.
The following day.
All right, I've been out here since just before the sun came up, getting everything prepped and selected and found all the tools necessary. But this is our new fuse block. There's the old one that's coming out. This appears to be, and I haven't counted, but it appears to be 2 positions wider than the one that's in there. This is a 65 fuse block that's in place here, and this is something from the 70s is what it looks like. Now, vertically, from top to bottom where I'm pinching here, they appear to be the same height, so it's the width that's going to be a problem. So we're going to have to cut out the dashboard a little bit, and I figured that probably what we're going to do here is we're just move the fuse block and use a Dremel after making some marks, and then cut out a notch, which is probably going to be, it might be up to 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches wider than what needs to be on here. I'll take some measurements before we commit to it. But before we do anything in here with any of this wiring, because some of those wires are still hot when the keys are off, is we need to disconnect that battery. So once that battery's out, then we'll start pulling this fuse block apart. And you can see right there, there's a screw. So from inside the cabin, we can take that screw out, which removes the little clip there, and then this fuse block lifts up and out of place. So I should be able to push it into the trunk here, and once it's in the trunk, then I should have the clearance that I need to get this slipped underneath it, and we'll make our markings. All right, well, that's what we're doing. All right, as I suspected, this fuse block is the same height, so it actually slots into the hole. But when I put it in, like it's supposed to be, it's way too long on the end here. So you can see the little scratch mark that I made here in the paint. This is where we're going to cut up to. So we're going to cut this whole section out right here with the Dremel. Got that right here in the car. It should be energized. Yep, there it is. All right, good. So I'll get my goggles on, and I don't know, maybe a little hearing protection too. And I'll put a blanket down here on the floor just to try to catch any of the shrapnel that does fall out, which there won't be a whole lot, but we'll get that trimmed and get it out of the way. There we go. And then we'll use a file to clean up the edges. Nice thing about this fuse box here is it doesn't matter which way you put it in, from top, bottom, or which way, you can still size it up to this hole. So, it looks like we're really close. It needs about another millimeter or 2 this way. So we'll continue in there with that file. And cut that out just a little bit more. Looks like it's ready to go in. And this fit is perfect. Look at that. A nice friction fit. Sometimes I impress myself. Good job, Duckman. All right, now it needs to come back out and go in from the other direction. And that was the wind closing the door on me. I have a fan behind my head trying to blow the dust and stuff away from me so I didn't have to breathe it. I didn't want to wear a mask in here because I can't move in here. There's not a lot of room for a Duckman. I'll try it one more time. That is beautiful. Okay, let's put it in from the other side like she goes. Alright. This thing should go in this way. Not a lot of clearance in here. A piece of tape in there where it doesn't belong. Okay. And this Now right now, if I didn't disconnect that fuse panel, there'd be sparks flying. So always disconnect the fuse panel by way of the battery before you start working in this area. There it is, in place. And there's our little clip on the end here. It should go in, and then from inside the cabin I can tighten that screw, and that will keep the fuse block in place. Now what we're gonna do is, one by one, we're gonna pull those wires off of this fuse block and put them on the same locations. There's an extra one on the end and an extra one on this end, so we're going to use all the ones in the middle, which appears to be, what, 8 circuits, I think it is. Yeah, it looks like it's 8. Volkswagen is super redundant on a lot of this stuff. I don't know why they did it. Well, I think I know why. It's for safety reasons. There's 2 fuses, 1 for each headlight, 2 fuses, 1 for each high beam, 2 fuses, 1 for each tail light. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do that otherwise, other than safety, but you can actually knock these things down to about like between 4 and 6 fuses if you get rid of the redundancy. I mean, modern cars are that way. Single fuse, takes out your entire headlights, so there's no reason it has to be this way on a Volkswagen. But we're gonna move those wires over. I'm gonna need both hands to do it. You guys don't need to see me pull off wires one by one, but here, demonstrate. There you go, 1 wire. Plug it right in there. New location. Not that hard. Alright, we'll be back in just... Here's our wiring reinstalled. I tried to untangle as much as I could, short of pulling the whole harness out of the car and rerouting everything. So I did the best we can with what we got. Now, the fuse is on the end over here. That's where we added the extra one, because this is now a 10 position versus 8, and apparently that's how Volkswagen does it. They add one to both ends. So the one on this end, I load balanced things, and I took some of the stuff that's on the one fuse and moved it over to the other, and that's because they are bridged together over here, so whatever was normally would be on one fuse is now on 2. So for whatever it's worth, that helps isolate some things. And then the extra fuse on the other end now goes to the radio. So I don't know if that's how it was supposed to be before, but that was one of the things that we had one of them splitters connected to for the radio, so now the radio has its own fuse, so that's good too. The radio in this car actually does not work, so it's really not a big concern, but it's nice to have it isolated and in its own circuit. Okay, here comes the fun part. Let's reconnect the battery and let's see what makes smoke. Alright, first things first, let's turn on the headlights. I see the gauge is lit up, that's good. Let's walk around the car, let's see what we got. The sun is starting to come up now, so the lights probably won't be incredibly bright. We got tail light, good. Should have markers up front as well. We got our halos are on, marker is on. On this side, halo and marker, fantastic. Okay, this is working good so far. Now let's turn on the headlights all the way. And we should have a headlight on both sides. We do. Super bright. And we'll step on the switch on the floor right here. And now we should have, I think it's going to be low beam. We'll see. Yep. The other circle lit up. Okay, good. Good. Let's see if we have turn signals. Gonna have to turn the key on for that one. Alright, it's ticking. So we should have a left signal. We do. Left signal over here. Fantastic. Right signal. I got one there. I should have a right signal up here. Good to go. Alright. Let's turn our lights back off, signals back off. Should start. Good. Oh, wow. Talk about firing up easy. I didn't even step on a throttle yet. Tachometer is working too, so that's good. Oil pressure came up like it's supposed to. These are the wipers here. See if those work. Are they going to hit the hood? No, they're not. Excellent. All right, radio. Well, you know what? That didn't work before anyway, so we're not going to mess with that. The only other thing to check is the brake lights. I need 2 people to do that, or I need a tripod, but the sunlight's getting too bright out here to mess with the camera. I'll test that off camera, but I suspect it's going to be okay. Oh, look, the horn button's coming apart. And it works, so that's good news. Huh, okay. Something for me to evaluate. Looks like it's missing something. Like there's supposed to be some kind of a clip or something in there that holds it. Alright, well, we're not going to mess with that. That wasn't part of the job. It does work, though. Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to call that an absolute success, and on the first try, I figured for sure something would have been out of place and something wasn't going to work right. But no, everything's working in there. Alright, well, I can start collecting my tools, get all my junk out of this car, and start putting everything back together. There it is. Alright, let me show you my work. Look under here. It's like your math teacher. Show all your work. There's our fuse block installed. It looks like it should have always been in there. Best of all, it's nice and flush. You couldn't do that with a stock fuse block because you would knock the damn fuses out. So now anytime you're in here and you reach under the dashboard, you don't catch your fingernails on it, which launches the fuses across the car. You don't accidentally stick your keys in it, which causes fuse to blow. You don't knock them loose by accident by getting your clothes snagged on them. Just, yeah, nice and flush. It doesn't even need a cover of any sort. So good to go, as is, ready to rock and roll. Let's start testing this thing. Even our little under dash light works. Well, good to go on that. Yes, sir. Well, everything on this car turned out really, really nice. Got our custom headlights installed and functional. You guys saw that. We got our brand new tachometer in there, which also was fully functional. We got that all set up. Looks good. Works nice. We got our fuse block put in there. Now everything's modernized. Fuses are easier to get, and they're less prone to being disturbed by occupants of the car. They also don't explode into the cabin. I don't know if you ever burned up a Volkswagen fuse before, but sometimes you can smell them. Modern fuses, their little filaments are encased, so when they burn, you typically don't smell them at all, unless they caught fire, but that would just mean that they're defective. But I like the 65 Ghia. I just wish I fit in these things better. If I were about 6 inches shorter, this thing would probably be just fine for me. Alright, well, that's it for this one. The temperature's starting to come up out here. It's about, I think, 10:30 right now in the morning. So, sun is overhead, that's for sure. We got to get to finishing this thing. I finally got all the parts to it, so we'll do some more updates on this. But otherwise, let's go have a walk around the yard, and let me show you the birds. I got a little unfortunate news this week, but for the most part, the rest of them are doing just fine. So, let's go have a look. Alright, got some of the birds out here today. Got a little bad news. It's been so damn hot out here, which is one of the reasons I've been so slow about getting things done, that we lost one of the girls this week. Little Fluffy had these exceptionally fluffy feathers, and I think that the heat got her. By the time I found her, she was well set into heat stroke, and I tried to revive her with some cold water, and I got her to come around for a couple days, but at the end of the second day, she passed in the middle of the night. Come here, Boomer. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come here. Let me see you. There he is. Good boy. Good boy you are. Yes, you are. See, you're playing on all the seed and thing I threw out in the yard here from the bird cages. Alright, stop biting now. That hurts. Ow. Okay, tell you what, Boom. Go play. Go play. Go play with the girls. The girls should be in there, too. And we lost little Fluffy. Very sad. I'm quite heartbroken over that because she was one of the really good ones. Yeah, she was a real sweetheart. She was very cuddly, snuggly. She had these soft, poofy feathers, and she didn't kick or squirm when I picked her up to hug her. I mean, I really loved that bird. She wasn't my Cheeky, though. I mean, Cheeky's my little girl, and you can see her right there. And then, over here is... Oh, Boomer. Stop. Stop, Boomer. Stop, Boomer. Over here is Frosty. Frosty's birthday is today. Right, Frosty? She's just turned 2 years old. We'll see if we can get her out of there, and I'll give her a little hug. None of the boys are outside, as you can tell. It's not making a whole lot of noise out here for that reason. I put the girls out separately now because the heat, well, I've been doing that actually for the last few weeks. The heat stresses them enough And when the boys start chasing them around, they get even hotter, and it's just not good for them. Anyway, it's actually not too bad out here today. I think our weather is changing. Fall is on the way, and it's a little earlier than it usually is. Usually we don't see it for another month or so, but last year we got it early too, and I suspect that this year's probably going to be early also. Well, we'll see if we can get her out of the shrubs over there so we can say hi to her. Frosty is the granddaughter of the mama bird that turned up here in the neighborhood a couple years ago. Her mother and father have both left us, which is sad. Her father just got sick for no reason at all, and her mom actually jumped the fence, and the dog chased her around over there, and I think she passed probably from heat exhaustion also. As her body was fine, there was nothing wrong with her. She just... Anyway. She and her brother both came around. Her brother's also gone, and she suffers from some of the same ailments that both her grandmother and her brother had. She has the same leg problem her brother has on the same side. It's like a loose joint. So I would say it's hereditary if they both had the problem, but she's also inbred. Your parents are brother and sister. Yes, they were. I don't know what was going on upstream above that, but she's 2 years old now. She's actually my Cheeky's niece. I know. I'm not hurting you, you know. We don't spend a whole lot of time together. This is her cape, by the way. This is what stops the boys from hurting her. I probably should take it off of her because she doesn't play with the boys a whole lot anymore. I've since... Okay, I'll put you down. Oh, no, you butthead. You butthead. Let me fix this. You landed in the food dish, dopey girl. You all right, huh? She and I don't play a whole lot together. We're really not close. I mean, she knows who I am. So she's not, like, scared of me, but she's got a poopy butt, too. I need to clean that. See the limp she's got? She's got a leg problem. Anyway. There's also, you can see the purple spot on the side of her there. She's got a gash. You can't see it anyway. She's got a gash, which is healing up really good. It only happened a couple days ago. There's this flap of skin that's like this big. It's just open. You can see her insides. But chickens are extremely resilient. You don't have to put stitches on it or anything. They just seal themselves right up. You just got to keep cleaning it. So anyway... Cheeky had the same problem. She was torn up also. Where is she anyway? Bet you she went in the house. She knows it's about time to come in. Usually around lunchtime I bring them in. Yeah, she's in here. There she is. She's not stupid. You're not stupid. No, you're not. She got ripped wide open too. I know, I got you. I got you. Everybody wants to see you on video. But she got ripped wide open. And you can see the bald feathers here, the bald patches. I still haven't filled in yet. And then the blue coat that I put on her. But she was ripped open from her armpit all the way down her side to her butthole. And there was this huge triangular flap of skin that was hanging off with all these feathers dangling from her. So this poor thing, she survived it. She did end up with an infection though, and I put her on some antibiotics. And she recovered from that about a week later. And then the hole in the side of her sealed up in 2 weeks. So, I mean, you can't even tell there's not even much of a scar. And then it wasn't long after that, they tore her open again. So there's another rip mark over here somewhere that's also sealed back up. But she's fine at this point. I keep her away from the boys. But you're my only viable female anymore. Yeah, you're the only one that lays good eggs. Frosty doesn't do that anymore. No. And she's only 2, and you're going to be 2 next month. But she stopped laying her eggs a long time ago. Yeah, that was one of her ailments like her grandmother had, and hopefully you don't end up with the same problems. I sure hope not. No, I sure hope not. So anyways, that's my chicken story, guys. It's been a hot one this week. It's been a hot one this past month. July was just horrible. August, you know, in the Panhandle here in Florida, it's usually just the same as July until the second to last week of August is usually when we get that break. And last year we did. I actually was able to turn the air conditioner off in August and left it off through most of September, which was amazing. The weather was actually so nice here. So here's hoping that fall comes quick, and here's hoping that the storms stay away. And this is my cover, by the way. I think I talked about it in an earlier video. I don't remember if I did or not. That came from a friend of mine, Ranchero 302 Me. He was going to use it himself, but it turned out it's really good. I can almost put it over 2 cars. It's a little low in the middle, sags a little bit. Somebody even recommended to me, you know, put a pole or something in the middle, hold it up like a big top tent. And I just might do that. That was part of the plan. I was just going to use a 2x4 with an old piece of carpet on the top of it, stop it from punching a hole. But yeah, that should do the job. Otherwise, things are okay around here. I gotta get this thing done. I've had a lot of interest in it. A lot of people want to buy it, which is just surprising to me. The owner wants to let it go, so this thing will be for sale soon. Just gotta clean the carburetor out on it. And this, it's been so hot, I just took a pause on it. I just haven't touched anything on it in about a week and a half. Really, I just need to clean up the wiring on it. Once the wiring is cleaned up, and I should be able to get the engine started. See, everything's dangling underneath here. Everything's functional currently, but it's just dangling. And I should be able to get the engine running. Once the engine runs, I can finish putting the front disc brakes on it, and then we slap the interior together and it goes back to the owner. So there's really not that much left on it. I mean, it's big stuff, but it's like easy big stuff. And then of course we got the go-kart. I've got the body off of it right now because I was playing with engine alignment. I was having an issue with the bigger engine on here. Some of the holes and plates and things didn't work. When I started to bolt it down, it looked like it was going to be okay, but it wasn't. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the pulley on the axle that way if I can to change some of the spacing out, and I think that'll cover it. In addition to that, we got some new front wheels for it because the set that were on here were just unmatched. Found those at Harbor Freight. Not particularly expensive. I can't say anything about their longevity, but at the price of them, I'm not worried about getting another set if we need them. So anyway, that'll be going on there shortly. It'll replace that one. And, well, there is one of the new ones on there already. It's not bolted on, but I forget what it's from. It's from a wheelbarrow or something, but it just happened to have the same size axle and bearings in it. Well, that's convenient. I have to fix the frame over here. You can see there's a little crash damage from the previous owner. Step out of the light here so you can see. That's not my welding, that was somebody else's. They put a strut in here to try to hold it together. That's just bullshit. So we're gonna clean up all those welds. I might even just cut all this out and start over again, because it's just, I can do better than that, even on my first try, the first time I welded. And then of course I gotta come back and grind some of this stuff down. And I got somebody helping me to make a new seat for it. And boy, the ducks did that in 2 days. I need to clean that out too. So I guess that's going to be it for today, guys. Licky, like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle belly so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out duckshit.net for all my different social media links. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.